I want a divorce.
I'm tired of marriage counseling. I'm tired of trying. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready for a divorce. I'm exhausted. I'm mentally at my capacity.
I truly thought I was gonna be with him forever. And I still love him so much, and I wanted it to be different, but it's not.
In sickness and health, better or worse, like, no. Like, so destroy myself and destroy my kids to keep a vow? Nope.
So if you're in a miserable marriage and you think about divorce regularly, go ahead and do it. You will not regret it. The thing that you'll regret is staying in that marriage longer than you wanted to and giving him years and years and years that should have been yours.
Women are conditioned for instant gratification. They want instant happiness, wealth, fame, luxury, and comfort. They want perfection in men, while they hardly bring anything to the table, except perhaps their physical selves. When that validation stops coming, even for a couple of days, they start thinking about divorce. They're addicted.
My future was right there. Like, it was solidified. Like, I was comfortable for the rest of my life. Maybe not mentally in my relationship, but financially, I was fine. And I gave it all up to be happy.
Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one.
Everybody keeps thinking that I'm handling this divorce so well, and I'm not. I'm not okay.
Maybe I should have stayed. It was like stable in every other area but that. Like, is my mental health really that important?
All that fake, all that happy. Oh, I'm doing so great. I think I was in shock. And now it's coming like into reality, and I don't know.
I don't know. Is this another stage of divorce? I'm happy, but I go into these random thoughts of, you gave it all away. Like, was it worth giving away? And I know it was. I know it was for my mental sanity. I know it was for my happiness. It will all come together, but it's still terrifying to start over at this age.
I don't know what my life's gonna be like. I can't seem to remember anything bad. I just remember all the good things.
Men get married believing that their spouse loves them just the way they are, but a woman gets married thinking they can change their men into who they really want. Oh well, marriage is like bananas. There is the time when they both rot.
So how much did my divorce cost me? Well, this is a fantastic question. There's direct and there's indirect costs. Direct costs, I lost $106,000 out of my 401k retirement plan I spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half the equity in the home, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cash, and savings that I also spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half of all the non-liquid assets like furniture, household goods, electronics, cars. Keep in mind, I paid for all of these. And this is in addition to financially supporting her and her/our daughter for 17 years, which is many hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm now broke, live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and have a negative net worth for the first time since I was, 25. Indirect costs: my job, my sobriety, my self-worth, my masculinity, my hope for the future, my ability to trust women again, my belief in God, my pride, my motivation, my physical health. I don't know, let's just say everything.
It's important to note that as marriage goes, so goes the nation. Strong families are the foundation of any society. Hedonism always takes its toll. Women do not mature faster than men. They excel at social dynamics, and social dynamics are heavily rewarded through middle and high school, whereas nothing men excel at is rewarded.
Divorced dads 10 times a day end themselves because they've come to the conclusion, I'm the problem, I'm the a-hole, remove me. They're cut off from their legacy, they're cut off from their kids, they feel rejected. And the person that I put ahead of my life, that I sacrificed for, that I love, that I put on this pedestal has abandoned me. Maybe I am worthless. Maybe I am a piece of crap. Maybe I don't deserve to be alive. And that negative self-talk drives them into the pavement, and they take a permanent L. And now that pain and misery they feel inside gets rippled into the family, into the children. And the scariest part is, for kids whose dads end themselves, they're more likely to do the same thing. My dad didn't stick around. Why should I?
It's tough on men, for real. No matter where you are and no matter what age group you belong to, always know that it's not necessary that once you're married happily, it's going to stay like that forever. Women need constant validation, which I personally believe is just a cop-out for not being content with who they are at certain points in their lives and not truly being in control of their own emotions.
My wife recently asked for a divorce, just straight up said it wasn't working out anymore. She wasn't happy, blah, blah, blah. But no cheating, no abuse, nothing like that. Just wasn't happy.
And unhappiness is not a good cause. I mean, if a man is abusing you, or if the man's an alcoholic or a drug addict, or he's driving you into bankruptcy because of his gambling habit, I can give you a pass on that. But if you're just unhappy because your life isn't going the way that you wanted it to, and that your fairy tale vision of your life isn't meeting your standards, and you suddenly decide that you're going to hold your man responsible for it, or you're in some way going to take out your disappointment on him by divorcing him, then I'm afraid I have very little sympathy for you at all. In fact, I would suggest that you are the problem, 100%.
For men, a divorce can mean the end of their lives, their hard-earned income, and their dignity. For women, it's just another way to tell the world how independent they are, and now how cash-rich they've become, probably securing an extra income for the rest of their lives.
Can we talk about how hard it is to leave the good guy? One, when you say, I want a divorce, and he's like, no, I want to work this out, everything's going to be fine. We can get through this, and he's so encouraging, and everything's just so fucking peachy keen, right? We talk about how I'm manipulated into staying because he's a good guy. He does nothing wrong. Like, the only thing he's guilty of is being lazy and, not putting in effort like we did when we were in the beginning of our relationship, like any other marriage.
I divorced the nice guy, knowing I was not in love and not fulfilled in that marriage, and that we truly just were not compatible.
He doesn't beat me, he doesn't do anything, he doesn't take money from me, but he downplays my emotions. I don't think he fully understands me. And we've talked about this, y'all. This has all been in counseling, but how do you leave the good guy?
It's almost as if being a good guy is keeping these women accountable. Lack of commitment is the most common reason for divorce. Marriage is not always easy, so success requires both spouses to be dedicated to their union and serious about making it last. That's why it is not surprising that a lack of commitment could spell disaster for a couple.
If your husband is a good guy, but you're ready for divorce, you're not a bad person. So don't let guilt get the best of you.
The guilt you're feeling is actually not guilt, okay? Because guilt means you're doing something wrong, but you're not doing something wrong. And therefore, it's not guilt you're feeling, it's the discomfort of making a choice that you know is going to be hard for somebody else, and it's the choice that he doesn't want.
You're not doing him any favors by staying. If anything, you're actually going to start building up resentment. Your relationship doesn't have to be toxic to validate your feelings of wanting to leave.
You do not need to be in an abusive, awful, horrible relationship for you to justify why you want to choose yourself.
You are not doing anything wrong by asking for a divorce. You are not doing anything wrong by saying, my happiness lies in a different path.
He may not see it like this right now, but you're doing both of you a favor.
And to be honest, we all know the legal system is designed to work in favor of women and use men's resources to pay for their financial expenses for the rest of their lives. Women were never aligned with their men in what they wanted to achieve in life, and there have been many cases where women had actually planned to marry wealthy men, only to divorce them and live off of divorce money without having to work for the rest of their lives.
Yesterday I told my husband I wanted to be separated from him. Even just 5 years ago, I didn't understand how people who could love each other so much to get married and have kids and build a life together just throw it all away like that. But something never felt right with me. Something never felt right with my relationship. It was always confusing. Do I believe he loves me? Yes, I have no doubt he would absolutely kill for me.
To put it in simple words, she lost control of her man because he grew up, and she kept on living in her fairy tale Disney princess mode at all the time and expected him to shower her with love 24/7. When he didn't validate her the way she wanted to, she started throwing these tantrums.
Every time I brought this to his attention, the problem was always me. I could never be together. I had to go back to therapy. I had to read all the self-help books, and you wouldn't believe how many I have read. And I have them all. I will show you.
I have asked dozens of women, can you honestly be comfortable in a relationship without controlling your man? Most said, honestly, no. When I flipped the question, would you want a man who needs to control you? Of course, no one signs up for that. Treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yesterday I told my husband I wanted to be separated from him, and people keep saying sorry, and I'm only crying right now because that was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. I truly thought I was gonna be with him forever. And I still love him so much, and I wanted it to be different, but it's not. It's okay to be upset. This is 17 years of my life we're talking about. Somebody I shared children with, who I built a life with. So yeah, say sorry, but also say congratulations for also being really strong. Because that was not easy.
Well, congratulations. May you have a life of constant validation that you're trying to seek from the internet. Classic neurotic feminism. And they say men are afraid of commitment when women are the first to leave a marriage if things don't go their way. Thanks for watching The Circle of Kings. As always, we're looking forward to your support, so please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything all kings like yourself need to know.